This is countdown day 10 to my Vegas trip. Sorry for the glare. Maybe that's like it's trying to tell me to calm down. It's been one of those days. I'm on my way home from work and got three big semi trucks going down the street. Then after the beat three big semi trucks, I got them doing construction on the road. And after doing construction on the road, I try to get a parking space. Now I got people all in my parking space. So that's how I'm feeling today. So let me get to the point now. Countdown today, Vegas 10. What does love have to do with it? This year I decided I'm going to finally focus on one woman and date. It's like, so from 2005 to 2017, I mostly spent a lot of time taking care of my grandmother, taking her shopping, fixing up her house, taking her to visit people, taking her to different churches to visit. And then after she passed away in 2015, I had to also take care of her estate. There were some issues with the probate papers, so I don't know if you guys can like raise your hand if you've gone through that. I was in courts like with the lawyer trying to make sure that her house didn't get lost to her son, who was a drug addict, and she didn't want him to get the house because of all the money she gave him. He never reformed himself, so she didn't want to give him the house and have him lose it to foreclosures. So after she passed away, I was in court for dealing with courts for about 2 years, and then after that was over, I had to finally settle her affairs with the state, and that was about $20,000 for a Medicare bill. So I was just like a long couple of years, first taking care of her, making sure she's okay, then after she passed away, having to handle her affairs, which was hard because you're like, oh, you want to mourn, but then you got to deal with the state, and you know how the state is, they want their money. So I'm decided I'm going to focus on dating someone, and so I came up with a couple of things. Okay, what are some things that can go wrong if I date someone? Because I'm thinking about dating a girl about 25 to 30. I think that's my energy level. I think the older women, they'll be, I'm from just there. The women who are younger are more, they make more money. They're kind of like more independent, and they don't look for a man as a necessity. More, they look at it as an asset. So if you can't be an asset to them, they don't bring you aboard. So that's what I like about the younger women. So I'm thinking, okay, so if I do date, what are some things I've got to do? Well, one thing I realized, whether it's when you start dating, what are some things that can go wrong? Can have problems with their family, can have problem with their friends. You can have the different suitors try to compete and go after her, like the different men or different women now. There could be a downturn in the economy where either her or I have to work more, so how are we going to see each other? I also have one, what about if we find out that we're not compatible? Are we going to stick together, or are we going to end it? So all these things I'm going to deal with. So, or what happens if I get jealous of her, always talking to people or never being home and not spending time with me? How am I going to handle that? So that's what I've been thinking about today. So on my trip to Vegas, well, as you know, my student loan was about $94,000. It's down to $40,000. This is my way of celebrating. I was looking back on what can I do to close the deal this time. Well, I've dated two women who are my fiancés, basically. I dated one for 6 years, one for 7 years, and I live with both. So I also know that if I start dating again, I don't live with a woman unless I marry her. It just doesn't work. Either you're going to just live together forever, don't bring up any type of ideas of, oh, let's get married, or just live in separate places. So that's one thing I've also learned that I'm not going to do. So hopefully this was on my way to Vegas. It's like, okay, this is going to be my last time as a single man in Vegas. And then after that, I'm going to date a girl and I'm going to get married. I've gone out with 13 years of dating and thinking we're going to get married, and I didn't get married. So that's my goal now. I think I'm going to do my best to pull that off. So what are some things that I'm going to do to make sure I get that off? First, I wrote down all the things that I knew could go wrong. And then I said, okay, to get jealous, that means I just have to get over it. I can't go OJ on people because that doesn't end well. Can't be 72 years old like OJ. No one's going to listen to my tweets. And then for the family, I have to say, okay, I agree, your family and friends don't like me. But in addition to that, is there anything else that they don't like that I can fix, so at least if I may not even go to the house, man. Especially if it's a younger girl, about 25 or 30. If I have issues with the parents, I just won't go by. I said, you know what? Your parents are right. I don't want to ruin your holiday. I'll just go stay at the Starbucks or go somewhere, get a hotel room. If you want to come see me, see me. Spend time with your family. Because I know sometimes that can be complicated. And now as for the friends and stuff, well, that's just a waste of time. Because most of the friends you have are, they haven't been any asset anyway. But, you know, what can we do to make them happy? They won't, like, they're not going to live with us now. Like any type of issues, like once we get married, can I have so-and-so live with me? She's my best friend, or he's my best friend. It's like, I don't think so. We'll just end up in divorce court. So that's one thing that I've decided to do. And then one thing I had to consider, like just thought about it, is what happens if her, like a family member, like her mom or dad, you know, they don't have any money and they want to live with us. Oh, I have memories that when I was younger. I grew up at my grandparents' house, so I lived with my grandmother. But then my uncle got out of jail, so we lived with him. We have another. Her name was Aunt Kitty or someone, I can't remember her name. She had problems and she moved in with us. And we had to do a 5150. The cops had to take her to the mental ward because she had issues. And I remember my uncle, we had him stay in the house, and the problem we had was if there was any money in the house, he would steal it. So I remember he stole my radio, and then we caught him one time even trying to steal like this big, back in the old days, you guys don't remember this, back in the 90s where the TVs, they weren't flat. They were just like these, like a big block. So I remember it's like a 20-pound TV he was trying to steal and take it out the back window. Luckily, we came home and caught him, but he's able to take the smaller items. So when I think about living with people, like when I was with my grandma, it's like me. I had a bed, so for like 8 years, it was like me and my grandfather sleeping on the same bed. So it's like we used to have the pull-out bed from the couch. Pull the bed out, got to make the sheets. He's like snoring. So that's how I spent my high school and grade school years. That's what happens if you live with your grandparents. And my grandmother had the bed to herself. I'm like, jeez, that's like the generation. She's like, nope, go to the bed. So I remember those memories. So I have to think long and hard about having our family members live with us. I don't know. That could be the breaker. That could be the divorce court one. But let me not digress. Hopefully by going out with a woman that's 25 or 30, her parents are at least in their 50s. So I'm also like going to be 50 something. So hopefully I die before they die. Hopefully either I die before they're old enough to move in, or they die before they want to move in with me. They're like, oh, we just don't want to live with you. So that's what I'm going to work on. So I'm thinking now, what else am I thinking? So in the next, say, 10 days, I'll be in Vegas. So we're going to see what happens. And then after that, I'll work. What other stories can I tell you? I can't think of anything. But that's it. Countdown to Vegas, day 10.